We've been working with the TubeMogul folks, working on the programmatic side of the house and our strategic thinking for a while. The TubeMogul announcement is not just a combination of ad serving, video quality, cost. So again, I think the TubeMogul folks should be commended for, there's been all this conversation about fraudulent media or video. And so I think what the TubeMogul guys have done on the quality control side is pretty spectacular. But I think even more than that is that at the end of the day, this is a data game. And so when we look at what's being called programmatic, I think out of the gate, a lot of people first look at the cost-saving aspects. To me, I could care less about the cost-saving aspects, or I shouldn't say that. I care a lot about that, but that's not the end game. At the end of the day, for us, even if we negotiate deals direct, we still want to buy it programmatic. And when we look at the world, we look at this. TV will be bought programmatically. End of story. I know that people are saying when, what, it will be bought programmatically. That's the bottom line. Now, there will be some time lag, but if you were at the upfronts this year, you would have heard ABC come out and talk about leading the programmatic charge. They all see that unique opportunity, especially when you have the video on demand space that has ads that are slotted, and when people go back and watch video on demand, it's not dynamic insertion, it's old. And now that inventory all of a sudden can reinvent itself from a cost perspective around data. And when I look at marketplaces, I look at the stock exchange. And I look at my best friend, Neil, who used to do something called VWAP, which was beat the valuated average of the exchange. Highly specialized. Nobody believed that it would ever be digitized. But the moment black box and algo trading became real, all those specialties became digitized, and then people were smart enough to figure out how to create new algorithms to beat algorithms, but it still became an algorithmic buying game, and that's what this world is going towards. And so for us, being able to build strong data capabilities is ultimately what's going to help us win in the next 3 to 5 years. That's the real long game. So right now we're talking about digital video, maybe 10, 15% of the marketplace at best. Imagine unlocking that data capability against 60 to 80% of the investment and being able to transform the way that you buy your mass media. That's where the game is, right? And so for us, this is a step in that direction. I want to see 100% bought programmatically, to be perfectly honest with you. Why would I not buy media in a way that I actually get data back and I use data to make smart decisions? I don't see why I would never do that. And if you think about, and the other piece that I would say that we think about is when we're structuring who we are and who we want to aspire to be. If Google was us, how would they do this? And at the end of the day, you all know the answer. Google sees power in algorithms. Google sees power in data and being able to be a smart buyer and come to the table with data. What TubeMogul allows us to do is actually own the data. So we actually can build it in-house and begin to tie it with our other sales data and become really smart around data so that when that future does begin to unlock, we're there poised and prepared. So at the end of the day, that's what's so significant about the TubeMogul. That was a long answer, sorry. You know, I feel very blessed to work at an organization that's very forward-leaning. Dana, my boss, was just on a panel talking about brand as publishers and kind of how we've been leading that charge. Which actually I think is the other side of the equation, which is we're not trying to become real-time marketers just because we see the power of creating Facebook posts in real time. But at the end of the day, and we just announced Blink Studios, which is real-time video creation, we see the power of becoming real-time creators and real-time buyers all in one. And I look at what we did with Super Bowl and the you can still dunk in the dark, Super Bowl tweet around the world, rah, rah, rah. I still think it's not a failure, but I would say it didn't live up to what the potential is. Imagine a world where we see something like that trend, we created it in real time, we see a trend, and then we're able to flip all of our media buys to buy that, the type of scale that we would be able to deliver, and we see that world right around the corner. In terms of brand managers specifically, I think it's a scary world. It's totally new, it's totally different. I feel blessed that our brand managers are willing to make a lot of those leaps, but the thing that we focus on the most is there will be an attack on talent in the next 3 to 5 years and the likes that we've never seen. And so when I talk to all the guys that work on Amazon, Facebook, those guys over the last 10 years have built businesses just as big as ours. They've run P&Ls just as big as ours, except they've been in organizations that have encouraged them to innovate and they have digital affluence. When we think about our talent, we haven't had that same, right? And these guys on this side are all saying the same thing to me. They're like, we're tired of Amazon. We want to go sell chocolate. We can sell cookies, diapers, you know. And so these guys are going to start making their ways into our ranks. And what we have to ask ourselves as an organization, have we prepared our talent to be able to compete in this marketplace? And so bringing our talent to a place where they're comfortable with data, comfortable with algorithms. By the way, they use data a lot. It's the algorithmic side and the real-time aspect that they haven't seen. So what we're doing is bringing folks like TubeMogul in really close, bringing folks like embeds from Twitter, transforming our relationship with Google, and really helping transform the talent of the future to compete.